So if you see here, we have two activities, main activity, and I created one more activity which is second activity. In main activity I mentioned all callbacks like onStart, onResume, onPause, onStop, onDestroy, and onRestart, and the same I did for the second activity. Now today we'll see how, in which case, which scenario, or how the activity works, and what is the life cycle of activities, and when I click on any event or go to next activity, how it is going to perform, how it is going to behave. That's we are going to see today. So to reach to the main activity, in the main to reach to the second activity, in the main activity I have created a, let me open that layout. So I've created a button, next activity, and when I click on the button it will go to the next activity, which is second activity. So let me run the application and let me see the logcat. So if you see, application is launched, and now let's see what we have in the logs. So very first time onCreate called, then onStart and onResume. So as we mentioned earlier, onCreate only called once in the life cycle. So if I go to again application, let me clean logs, and if I click on the back button, let's see, and go back again, click on the application. So if you see, first onPause will call, when I click on the back button, then onStop, and then destroyed because we stopped that, and because it's relaunch again, so this onCreate will call. Now let's see another scenario. If I go back to the application and click on activity, so what will happen, since we already onCreate it's called once, and it has to be called only once in the lifetime of activity. So the next time when I click on the next activity, it will go to the next activity page, but before going to the next activity, first it will pause and stop the first activity and then go to the next activity. Stop I'm saying because, so if I click on the next activity, what will happen, it will first stop, pause the first activity and see the next activity is visible or not. If it's visible, then after pause it will stop the first activity and then go to the second activity, and on the second activity it will invoke onCreate, then onStart, and then onResume method. Let's see, when I click on the next activity, what will happen. So first onPause will call, and then it will invoke then it will invoke second activity, and so these are the second activities. First it will invoke onCreate, then onStart, and then onResume, and then since we are seeing our activity 2 is completely visible, so our activity 1 would be stopped. So if I go back to the screen again, clean everything, and if I go back to the click on the back button, what will happen now? In this case, activity 1 is visible, it means activity 2 would be pause and then stop. So if you see over here, activity was initially pause, then activity 1 start, restart, then start, then resume, and then stopped activity 2, and then destroy activity 2 because it's already, we come back to the activity 1. Now one more scenario is there. Let's say the activity 2 is not visible completely and still we are seeing activity 1, or it's like partially visible. In that case, activity 1 will not stop. So let me do changes for that. So for that I'll go to manifest, and then second activity I'll mention theme as transparent and no action bar for the second activity, and that's for the second activity. Now stop it and then restart again. Yet launch. So if you see, very first time onCreate, onStart, onResume activity will call. Now close it and now click on the next activity. So if you say activity 1 is also visible and activity 2 is also visible, it means partially it's transparent. So in that case, we'll see activity 1 stop method is not invoked. It will go on pause, then on create of activity 2, on start, and on resume. But onStop method is not called. So if I click on back button, again, if you see on pause, then on stop of activity 2, because now activity 2 is not visible. But in previous case, earlier, activity 1 and activity 2 both were visible. That's why activity 1 was not stopped, and then activity 2 destroyed because it's not visible, and then activity 1 resume. So that's all about the life cycle of Android. So that's pretty much we have for this session. And if you haven't subscribed our channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Thanks for watching.